Hey, everybody, welcome to Keep It Spiritually Simple. I'm your host, Sandra McEllis, and today we've got Nurse Ashley coming on again to talk about addiction and all kinds of expansion and understanding of what it is and how we can look at it differently. So, this is my series on addiction, and it's exploring through the lens of awareness, frequency, compassion. There's no judgment or labeling here, only to understand, to soften, expand how we relate to ourselves and to each other. Welcome, Nurse Ashley.
Oh my gosh, what a great introduction. Thank you, Sandy. Wow, it is such a pleasure to be here on KISS, right? Keep it simply spiritual
Yes.
or spiritually simple,
Same
right? We
thing.
can we can up it and down it and go sideways in all kinds of ways. Keeping it spiritually simple. Wow. Okay, so in the realm of addiction, where shall we begin? What are your questions and ideas, Sandy, about addiction when it comes to mind about how do you approach addiction? How do I approach addiction? Like how do we as a whole humanity approach addiction?
hmm
Right?
Well, it's
What's
such a
your
loaded question because many of us want to label it strictly to drugs and alcohol or something that's illegal or something that we may have saturated ourselves with consciously and unconsciously. So, we have simple things. I know we touched base on my sugar issue last time, which just blew me away and had me still kind of unraveling some of that and taking a closer look at myself. But we've got basic things like caffeine, we've got vapors, we've got cigarette smokers, we've got junk food eaters, we've got soda drinkers, we've got all kinds of things in the realm of addiction. We've got people who are locked in on control, right? They think they have control of everything when technically they're really out of control and their nervous systems are uneven.
I completely agree. Like even when you were listing all those different ways that we can look at addiction, is I was thinking we could be addicted to the couch,
Oh, absolutely.
right? Couch potato addiction. I never even really thought about that, right? And we can have addiction to the other side of that and swing the pendulum the other way, is we can be addicted to exercise. We
Yes.
could be addicted to um, what our favorite thing is, right? So how do we look at what is our favorite thing and are we addicted to that? So how do we become aware? That's where I wanted to focus today's conversation and opportunity, and our experience with everyone listening to this recording is so amazing, is like, what is your awareness of the thing you really love? So the thing I really love is surfing and being in the water. Now, I am not addicted to it because I'm living in an environment right now where the water is cold. So I'm not very much addicted to cold water. But where I'm going on vacation for in a couple of days is where it's really warm water, my favorite place, Hawaii. So I might be addicted to surfing and swimming in the environment that I love, right? And so how do I move that addiction into something that I prefer, I love to experience, and I'm satiated, right? We talked about this last time too, is I'm satiated when I get to go surfing and when I don't get to go surfing. So, how about that? How about how we look at what our favorite thing is, and if we're addicted to it, what is some of the addiction profile look like? Like, how do we become aware of things that we're addicted to that we don't know we're aware of? Like, how do we access that unawareness? For me, right, I set up impeccable intentions. I'm like, okay, where in my life am I addicted? Because I know that if I keep that addiction, I will be enslaved to that process. And we're working through, right, in our humanity to unenslave ourselves from debt, unenslave ourselves from jobs and duties and things that we don't really want to do, that don't really serve a purpose, and that don't really emancipate ourselves and other people, right? It keeps us structured, stuck, small, unable to see what's before us are new opportunities or possibilities or potentials when we stay stuck in our addictions. Because what do they provide? Comfort, safety, security. And how do we become safe, secure, and comfortable without having addictions? What's your idea on that, Sandy?
Well, I think one of the first things is when we look at our daily schedule. And if we decide we're going to just throw a grenade in there and
I think
not
we're
do
really good at that, huh?
yeah, not really do it the way we had, are structured to do it. So if you could step out of the structure and then look at how you will frazzle. People get so structured and not realizing that if they step out of that routine, they are going to
There you
literally
go.
implode upon
Right.
themselves. And then you look at it and go, wow, I had no idea, you know, and we're creating new neural pathways, right? And our brain just doesn't want to switch gears. It wants to get frustrated and agitation starts in, the liver heats up, and the whole body starts getting discombobulated.
Yes, yes, like you just described in my listening when I was listening with you, is what does implode mean? And you just shared it, right? It affects our liver, our blood pressure. We get irritated and excited. We might get itchy. We might develop, I don't know, all kinds of problems in our body, right? So that implosion, and what is the belief? What is the mental belief that if we don't receive what it is we believe we need to have, i.e., fulfill the addiction, what will happen to us? So, what does that mean imploding mentally? Like, what is in our belief system that holds that addiction in place? So let's use an example of an implosion. When you said you were going to throw a grenade into it, what kind of grenade would you throw into the mix of your day that fulfills your addiction?
That fulfills my addiction.
Yeah,
Oh, I was talking about blowing it all up. I was talking about, throwing a lens on there about what you
yeah,
could be addicted to. And that is just your routine, just
right,
your simple
correct.
schedule that is so rigid that if you don't follow it, like you don't eat at the right time, then all of a sudden you become what you would translate as hangry. And then
Oh,
you're
so you're
mad because
addicted
now
to a
I'm not.
schedule.
I'm not. I'm just
Okay.
saying in general, that is a
Yeah.
great way to figure out
Yes.
what your addictions are instead of trying to look at it. Well, I really don't have that much wine. And oh, I do this and I do that. Again, we're trying to take it away from there and put it on our daily routine. What
Yeah.
is it that we do in our daily routine mindlessly, not realizing that truly we've set ourselves up in an addiction?
Awesome. Right? Okay. So now mindlessly, when we want to achieve or become aware of our addiction, you throw a grenade in the middle of it. So what kind of grenade would you throw in the middle of noticing that you have an addiction? What
Well,
would that look like?
Here's one that just came up.
Awesome.
You overslept and didn't get to the gym.
Overslept and didn't get to the gym.
And then
So
your
now,
whole day is like beating yourself up and you're mad because you didn't get that workout in and you're just going to suffer and just all kinds of things that we do to ourselves that was based upon starting that day with this particular activity.
okay, so the addiction is to maybe clean up being sedentary. So you want to go to the gym, right? So you want to have more exercise in your daily routine. And so you created that and you're going to the gym every day, but this day you woke up late and you decided not to go to the gym because you woke up late. You had to start your day. Okay, so now you created an addiction for healthy things too, right? So we didn't even talk about that. Like we can create addictions, i.e., habits, right? An addiction is a habit. So most of them we look at addictions as unhealthy habits, and now what we're doing is bringing in an example of a healthy habit, but then we couldn't fulfill the healthy habit because we woke up late. Okay, so
Mhm.
now we're frustrated and irritated that we can't have that healthy habit. What if we could be present in every moment and be okay with the fact that we woke up late because maybe we just needed a little extra rest, a little extra rejuvenation, maybe cellular rejuvenation during rest, and whatever that is. And then when we woke up late, what if we can say, it's okay, we woke up late. I woke up late to fulfill my body's needs to rest. Now, and later in the day, what if I could rearrange that new habit that I'm created to have a healthy habit and go to the gym later in the afternoon, or I pick it up tomorrow? So we don't realize that addictions are based in the realms of habits, which you just brought forward, which is really amazing. So what if we could let go of healthy habits and unhealthy habits and not have habits, but become aware every moment of every day of everything that we're doing? And what if it's not overwhelming to the brain?
Well, wouldn't that be wonderful?
And if we do, wouldn't that be wonderful? Right? You said it so beautifully. So, what if we have that though, and we are in choice points all throughout our day? Because what did you say? You wanted to become aware of where our addictions are. Where do you believe you don't have a choice point in life? That's where maybe addictions are hiding out too. So I don't have a choice to smoke a cigarette because I'm addicted to it. And if I don't have that cigarette, I won't be normal. I'll be anxious and be upset, right? Or if I don't get to the gym on time, then I won't be thin and looking beautiful for everybody else, right? All these different ways we don't recognize that we set up automatic behavior patterns so that we can get something done, right? So healthy addictions are getting things done and getting things moving in a world where we didn't fit the time into the schedule. But unhealthy habits, let's go back to that for just a moment. Where are unhealthy habits? Those are hiding where? Inside coping mechanisms, where we feel we have to cope. So, for example, many times when I'm in overwhelm, I created a healthy addiction to go meditate. But meditation doesn't always work in every moment, right? It's like, sorry, wait, this conversation is too overwhelming. I need to meditate for a few minutes, right? It doesn't kind of work like that, right? So in the realm of how do I handle my addiction to meditating in chaotic environments so that I can calm my nervous system down? And how can I do a meditation within a blink of an eye while I'm having a conversation with somebody? I can breathe in the love that I am, and I can breathe out the chaos that I'm experiencing. So I can adjust my belief systems, my triggers, and my challenges with my emotional states, my mental states, even my spiritual states, and many times my physical states. I can start to change them in a moment's notice. So that's one way that we can deal with addiction. But let's go back for just a moment about detecting addictions in our lives. Okay? So if you took a moment to detect the addiction in your life, where do you, Sandy, have an experience where you're coping with something that you don't really want to deal with? What are ways in which you have situations in your life that you don't want to deal with things and you cope? What does that look like?
It generally looks like for me, my heart rate will increase. I'm in a situation, it's uncomfortable. It could be, and I have to face it because it could be job related. It could be I'm in this room and I can't get out, right? So now what do I do? And I have to do A, B, C, and get to Z and still look composed. For me, I've trained myself to tune into my breath.
That's really great. Okay, so when you don't tune into your breath and you go into coping, what is that coping? Is it holding your breath?
Very much so.
Okay. Usually it's the opposite, right? Of the thing
Hmm.
we want to do. Usually it's the opposite that's hiding in plain sight in our situation, in our way of being, our way of talking, our way of experiencing, our way of relating with ourselves and other people. Is this idea that if you want something, it's usually the opposite that you're defending yourself from. So if you're holding your breath, what does holding your breath do to you? when you hold your breath because you're upset or irritated or something not going the way you want it to go? What
It puts me
happens
in
to you?
survival mode because, first of all, I'm not circulating my oxygen and I'm aware of it. And my body sort of feels like it drops down into low gear so that I can maintain some sort of what I call, like, I got to do this. So let's just slow our roll here, kind of thing. But I've learned to change that around over the years just from my own work. But in general, most people will stop breathing. They become shallow breathers and they
Yeah.
don't eat, they're not even aware of it.
I love that you gave the visual or the visceral experience of going into low gear. Like I'm pretty sure everyone can understand when they go into low gear. That's such a great thing. It's like remember in the old cars where we would shift down, right? Shift down to first gear, and the
Mm-hmm.
car would go, and be really slow and not work very functional. And that's kind of what's happening to us, isn't it?
Yes.
So you could be addicted, and this is awesome that you brought this up. You could be addicted to holding your breath, and we don't even know it, right? And we're not allowing the energy to flow through us. Talking about healthcare optimization, right? Is what we want to do is we want the energies of life to flow through us, not hit us, not overwhelm us, not stop us, not put us into low gear. Okay, so that was a great example of what we could be addicted to. I'm addicted to tuning out. I'm addicted to turning off. I'm addicted to holding my breath. I'm addicted to judging the situation, being upset about it, rather than maybe breathing, being present, and working through it and improving our relationship skills, which is mostly communication, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, right. We can start with that. Okay, so wow, that is a great motivator to help us learn because what else do we do in our state of being when we're faced with things we don't want to face with, right? I.e., coping. Like mine could be, and others could be, I'd rather find something else to do. So I recruit distractions in my field. I notice that. It's like when I don't want to do something, the phone starts ringing. When I don't want to do something, more notifications come in on the phone. When I don't want to do something, I'll find laundry to go do. It's hilarious, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm addicted to distractions when I don't want to do something. So I now am going to notice what I chose to be distracted with so that I can reconfigure and create a new choice point. And this is the transcendence of what an addiction is first becoming aware, secondly understanding the construct of it, what am I doing and what am I applying it to, and then how do we break this cycle, right? And we break this cycle by noticing that we have a choice point. We can shift it, we can change it. So when you're in a situation and you're holding your breath and you then start to realize you're holding your breath and you resume breathing, how do you feel?
Oh, well, I feel like I opened up a valve.
You got it into third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. Remember fifth gear on the cars, right? You're ready for supercharging, right?
Well, for me, I had to learn how to balance between that not breathing or having, those little wind up toys that you would wind up and it would fly across the room, but then it would hit the wall, but it still had a lot of energy and it was just hitting the wall, hitting the wall, hitting the wall. I had to balance between the no breathing and hitting the wall with all this energy and
Right?
still try to be productive and then look sane at the same time.
Yeah, right. And that whole visual of how we look towards ourselves and other people is very fascinating too, right? Because that drives a lot of addiction. It could drive it of how we look through vanity, right? How we are reviewed and judged, how projections get sent to us. All kinds of different things are happening. And so, how we look is a big part of our society that we can get addicted to. And it can be just how we look with our voice, right? Or what we're saying or sharing, right? Everybody, we're in a big movement of being authentic. right? So what does that look like? I could definitely in my younger years, a long time ago, be addicted to pleasing people, right? I think nursing is good at that, right? So I'm just going to tease it a little bit and say, how are we addicted to pleasing people? How are we addicted to making sure that people view us well, regard us well, respect us? I don't even like to use the word loyal to us, right? What if we don't have to be loyal? What if all of those things can be supported with being authentic in every moment? Even when we woke up late and we didn't get to the gym, right? What if it doesn't have to be this horrible punishment model all day about not going to the gym? What if in between I realized I needed rest, I woke up late, I'm in my work, now when I go to the bathroom, I'm going to work out a little bit in the bathroom for another minute. I'm going to work out in my chair and do chair calisthenics, right? I'm going to do other things to compensate or to make up or to shift and change when I wasn't able to fulfill what I chose to fulfill, right? With the happy or the healthy habit. And so going back to our unhealthy habits where you were holding your breath, hmm, right? Do you see why our conversation is so all over the place?
Yes.
Why? Why is our conversation all over the place?
I think it's because I just see this little going around in the head. Like there's
Yes.
just a lot of things trying to talk at the same time and they're banging into each other.
Isn't that amazing, right? So addiction, it covers so many different areas of our world. And we don't realize that we kind of get excited about it, right? Like, what addiction are you excited about that really fulfills your soul, fills your heart, and makes you sing? Like surfing does that for me. What does it for you?
I don't know that I have one. I think the last 4 months I've been doing Pilates almost every day. Um, for better alignment within my body and also to understand my body better. So it's become, I can't wait to get to the next class. And I just
See
keep
that?
signing up and signing up. And I know they're already booked out. And I'm safe and I'm in the class and I won't miss it.
Right. And so that's awesome, right? So that's an excited addiction, right? We could say, or we get to an addiction point. So what if we don't need addiction to motivate us to get something healthy done?
Holy
What if
moly. Well, answer that. We might as well end the series. Do
right?
tell, do tell, Nurse Ashley, do tell.
So do tell or do share the wisdom. What I like to do is like invite everyone in, like you and I are inviting each other into this conversation, is the opportunity to recognize what if things that are considered bad and what if things that are considered good are ways that we point in different directions to choose. And then when we choose each and every time, so what if every time that you sign up for Pilates, you're choosing it? And you're excited to do it again because it keeps you growing, expanding, and developing yourself. And what did you say that was so amazing about the Pilates is it increased your awareness. Your
Oh, big
awareness about
time,
your
big time.
structure,
Hmm.
right? And you delineated some areas. So you made navigational categories to discern how to work with Pilates in the most optimal way. So you're optimizing your experience with Pilates by being excited about it. Then you opened up the idea of I choose to be aware of it instead of just I got to go to Pilates to get thin. I got to go to Pilates to stretch out. I got to go to Pilates to have an amazing body. Whatever that is, right? You've decided I want to go to Pilates to become aware of my body's structure. I want to recognize what works, what doesn't work, and what needs support and help, like maybe a knee or a shoulder or our lower back, whatever it is, right?
All of the above.
All of the above, right? And so that is an amazing thing. So each time that you go to Pilates, it's fresh and new, not even a healthy addiction, because a healthy addiction, we slide into it and we start to lose our awareness. Addiction and a habit means we lose our awareness and we're just doing things habitually. And that's where negative addictions get really grounded into our reality. And we don't realize it's there because we were coping with something we didn't want to deal with, right? So you're not coping choosing to go to Pilates to deal with a sedentary lifestyle, an overweight tummy, a shoulder that's constantly painful. You know, you're not going to fix something that you broke a while back. You're going to experience the new you each and every time you go in there. And so the energy, the teacher, the other participants, you in the classroom, each time that you're there, get a new and fresh approach about how to go to the next level. And then the next class is the next level. And then the next class is the next level. So you're constantly learning and growing in a space where you can create choice points for your body that are far more different than you had before. Right? So that's
Yes.
us unraveling addiction and what it's about. And so for anyone else, where do we, when we've leaned on a coping mechanism of something we don't want to deal with, how did we get addicted to it? What is the addiction? How did we get addicted to it? And how do we start to unravel it without making ourselves wrong or bad or judgmental or anything like that? It could be all of the above. But what if we don't have to focus on that? I'm fixing my addiction or I'm fixing my habit because it was bad. I want to correct my habit or my addiction, the negative ones especially, because they don't serve me. They don't serve you. They don't serve the world. I'm contributing to something negative for humanity, right? So like a bad habit. I don't know. I think I still have a bad habit of grabbing processed foods when I know it's not healthy because it's either convenient, somebody else bought it, somebody else is serving it, whatever else that is, right? And so, how do I manage myself to have less processed foods? Because that certainly was a habit of the 1970s, right? And the 80s and the 90s, right? We're like, yay, processed food. And then we had no idea what it was going to do to our bodies over decades
Mhm.
of eating that stuff, right? So, for example, now how do I unwind this? Yay, we have processed food. Yay, it's easy. Just open the package and you can have it. You know, that kind of stuff. How do I shift that even in an environment that I didn't create the environment? I didn't go to the grocery store. I didn't buy that stuff. I didn't cook that stuff. I didn't serve it to me. Somebody else did. How do I shift that around in my world so that I can undo my habit of eating processed foods, for example? Right? And so it allows me choice points all along the way. And in somebody's, I don't know, wedding or something I go to and they serve processed food, I'm going to have a little bit of it. And I'm going to let it be okay with my body and then shift that choice point. But that choice point was because I chose to have it and recognize how to process it rather than going, oh my God, I ate processed food again. Bad me. I'm a bad person. Bad Ashley. Don't do that again. Instead of that, I'll go, that was a choice point that I chose. I put it in my body. It's not the healthiest. And I'm going to keep moving to different choice points all along the way in future events that I go to. Do you see what I mean? So that allows us access to our awareness that we covered up. We veiled. We compartmentalized. We said it wasn't okay to do that. So where in your life and an audience, where in your life do you have an undetected addiction? And like make it a game and make it fun. Like, where is it in our lives where we're addicted to something or someone or something outside of ourselves that's helping us deal with something we don't want to deal with, right?
Yeah, and let us know in the comment section.
Yes, let us know in the comment section. That'd be really great because when we have access to it and we share it with others, like when you shared, like I just shared my addiction to, I don't think I have an addiction to processed food anymore, but I still could always look at it. because I think it still goes in the body by accident because of whatever I'm in front of, right? We're traveling, we're at an airport, whatever, all that stuff. It's fascinating. So, how do I have choice points even in these areas that are hurry up, get this done, got to eat something, that kind of thing? Like all related to what it is we're experiencing. So when you what are you experiencing in your life, Sandy, where you don't know that you're addicted, that you're busy coping with something? So you said one area was breath holding. What's another area where you feel that you have to cope with something you don't want to cope with or you don't want to deal with?
I don't know that I'm getting a visual in my head about that. I think I've gone through enough years of repatterning and retraining myself, so that I'm in conscious awareness. I'm not living on autopilot, so I'm not getting something that's popping up
That's
that
beautiful,
that
right?
would that would grab the audience.
Yeah, well, and I love the idea of where are we on autopilot. I'm definitely on autopilot when I brush my teeth. So I'm now going to make a conscious effort to brush my teeth more effectively by being present in the moment of that brushing my teeth. So then when I go back to the dentist and they say, oh, this upper area on the inside, you're not getting very good. I'll be like, oh, that's probably a pattern, right? A habit. I'm brushing
Mm-hmm.
my teeth and I'm unaware that I'm missing this spot, right? So we can apply that to anything else in life, right? But where do we go on autopilot is a great question we can ask ourselves to discern where we might be addicted. And I want to take something really even very esoteric here. What if we're addicted to not being present? I being born in the 1960s, I can tell you that I've been put in front of technology that allows me not to be present. The first one in the late 60s was the event of the invention of the television, right? So we can turn on the television and we literally turn off our brain, don't we? Most of us. We turn off our brain. We just want to be entertained. We go to a movie. We just want to be entertained. We're not really present and interacting in a way that that movie or thing that we want to see on a device called a television. We move beyond the flavor of entertainment, or we take a choice point. I'm going to this movie to be entertained. I'm going to this movie to laugh. I'm going to this movie to be with my spouse or my friends or my children or whoever, and I'm going to enjoy the time together. So that is a choice point where we go off of automatic pilot and we start to become aware, alive, alert, and awake in the environment we chose. Even if it was to turn off our brain a little bit, stop thinking about our job or whatever, and soak into that story called the movie, right? So we can even learn about presence and being present, being awake, alive, alert, aware in our environment so that we have choice points all along the way. We don't get stuck in them or enslaved to them, right? Like I
Well, you're
have parents,
hypnotized by it.
right?
You're literally in
Hypnotized.
hypnosis. You're in hypnosis.
Yes.
You
And
don't
it does.
realize it, but you are. When you're totally enthralled in a movie or a show, you don't want to hit pause. You don't want to run to the kitchen. You literally do not. Your peripheral shrinks completely. Your awareness of what's happening elsewhere shrinks, and especially with the boy brains, they're even more laser focused on what they're watching in front of them. So
Right.
it's a form of hypnosis.
Right. So we can now,
That's
for
a whole
those.
other topic you and I could get into.
Right, right. But so unified focus, that's really a good thing. So, what if the person who wants to be hyper focused or unified in one focus says, I'm going to watch this television and I'm going to intentionally block out the noise, block out whatever else is going on, and learn and train my brain, my body, my nervous system to focus on this one thing? Now you're at a choice point, not at an addiction point. So you're aware that you want to be focused. And then maybe other people want to watch the same TV show, but they're a mother, right? So, and they have a toddler in the room, right? So they're focused on the toddler and the show at the same time. Many women have that issue, right? Is being multi-focused. So as a choice point, I'm going to be multi-focused. And I'm going to not be jealous of the person next to me who's uni-focused and is not going to pay attention to the toddler, right? But then maybe you'll shift and you'll go, okay, I'm going to now be single focused, and you're now in charge of the toddler and watching the show at the same time. And see how that goes for you, right? So this is relationship building too. So we have an opportunity. Addiction means we just turned off our awareness, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow. And when we turn our awareness back on, what do we get? We believed we get overwhelmed. We get frustrated. There's too much to think about. There's too much to do. I I can't juggle all this. My bandwidth isn't that wide. But what if it is? And what if inside your focused awareness, you could have a priority of watching the TV show, and you could have an older sibling watch the toddler for the 30-minute TV show or whatever, right? And so you can have practice of other people doing other aspects of a job so that you aren't overwhelmed. So we can learn to delegate appropriately where different environments could reduce the chaos, right? So we don't know that we have all of these choice points. We kind of turned off our brain, we turned off our awareness, and we're just, like driving or brushing our teeth or things like that. We do things mindlessly that you brought up before. So where do we turn that back on? And what is the value of our awareness for you?
Were you
What's
asking me a
valuable?
question?
Yes. That was awesome.
I
Great
don't want to
demonstration.
answer it.
Great demonstration. You did beautiful. You fell right into it.
That's
No, I'm just
exactly
kidding.
right. Trying to be a good model over here.
You were doing great, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so really, like, what is the value of awareness? Why is it valuable to be aware all the time?
For me personally, because, I'm trained in hypnosis, I know the difference between the 90% subconscious autopilot and everything that's stored in there and the 10% conscious. And I made a commitment many moons ago to practice staying in the conscious mind. And even if that meant starting with just a little simple thing of how do I focus right here, right now, not think forward or back, get distracted by the left or the right, and stay in this moment. And the stopwatch would stop within seconds, you know? And so I had to practice on expanding that so that I could be in the awareness, just the awareness of the difference between conscious mind and subconscious programming.
Ooh, now there's a gateway to open up our expanded consciousness, is peeling away addiction where we got mindless and we turned off everything to cope and deal with it. I know that when nowadays I do the same thing. And nowadays, when I really want to cope and I really don't want to do anything anymore, I just choose at that moment to go take a nap. I really do. Now, not all of us are in situations to go take a nap when we're overwhelmed. So, how do we refocus our awareness to, right? We can prioritize. We have choice points all along the way of things we do want to deal with and things we don't want to deal with. And what's really awesome as adults, we have the opportunity to hold it in formation, our upset and our frustration, and then tackle it at a later date, a later time. We do have that ability. Children don't yet because they live really in the now moment and they're like, no, my problem is now and now has to be fixed, right? But we're learning as adults that we can have abstract concepts so we can put a problem that we can commit to handling to a later time. or we need more resources, right? We need more people to work through that problem or whatever it is. So we have opportunities in this now moment to reassess and re-choose how we want to deal with this problem or challenge before us. Instead of what we're really good at as adults is conflict avoidance. And so we choose distractions to avoid conflict rather than actually dealing with it. But we didn't realize that we have choice points to redirect some of the challenges that we're experiencing so we can focus on getting a certain specific job done, like our work, or we're in the middle of driving. Maybe some of us pull over and deal with it, but most of us don't. Most of us continue driving, right? Or whatever it is we're doing in the moment, right? Like maybe in the middle of a grocery store, we're grocery shopping, and somebody tells us we need to take care of something. What do we tell them? I'm in the grocery store. I will get with you in 15 minutes. Do you see what I mean? Stuff like that. But we don't realize that we can apply that to areas of addiction because we don't want to look at that. We don't want to hear about it. We don't want to see it. We're like, no, stay away, and we create blockades. So what we do is we allow ourselves to unravel these blockades, address these blockades in real time, commit to shifting them. And now, what is the value of being aware?
It's priceless.
Priceless. That's a great one. I love it. Thank you. Wow, it's priceless. It is priceless. And it is priceless how?
And it's not always comfortable to be totally in the conscious moment
No, it's not.
because it can be what appears to be a distraction because we're not really taught to work with our peripheral energies. We're taught to be in that subconscious autopilot, and people don't like being in the conscious mind. Just take anyone listening right now. If you have to go sit down for a little while, do you actually really relax? Or do you think about all your to dos? And then you get back up and you're avoiding that your body is saying, hey, let's sit down and reorganize here for just a second. Your mind is like, no, let's keep you busy, and it's distracting. So we're really walking around extremely disconnected from the neck up and the neck down.
I really agree. And you just brought up a really great point. I do a lot of work in spiritual development and esoteric development and energy mastery. And in that realm, I get so right brained and so way out there etheric that I know that I've chosen little games on my phone to do little dots and arrows and different little baby game things to get back strategic, to get into time, linear, strategic understandings on how to bring the etheric into the physical. So I will intentionally, if I'm feeling like I'm not getting anything done, I'm not getting what I want out, I'm not producing what I want to produce, so I'll take a moment and redirect my mindset into a funny little strategic game or play Go or play chess with myself in the computer, whatever it is, to reallocate those resources in my being to create and to complete the function that I want to complete. So sometimes, and then other people looking at me like, why aren't you working? Why are you playing a game on the phone? And I'm like, I'm playing a game on the phone to redirect my thinking
It's exactly
because
right.
because it wasn't in alignment with what I really want to create. So what's happening is we can, when we have awareness, we notice where we're out of alignment and in alignment much quicker. And when we can quickly shift, pivot, phase shift, we can call it. Some of our scientific friends like phase shift. Okay, we can trim tab. We can change the way that we're thinking in the moment to readjust to the thing we want to accomplish. So I'm able to get more things accomplished in less amount of time when I'm constantly aware of where I am and where I'm not. And then when I have choice points all throughout the day, how do I feel? I feel free. I feel open. I feel ready. I feel confident. I know that I can complete things, even if it takes 100 different steps and I really only wanted it to take 3. That's a lot of times. So I'm a visionary. So visionaries have challenges getting things completed because they're up in the ethers figuring out these things, but they don't know how to bring it down into form. So as a visionary, I'm working on my weak points, which are producing things into form. And so therefore, I not have to have different structures and strategies to work with when I get off kilter. And we are going to get off kilter because we're going to be guided naturally to what we really love and what we really like to do, which is part of our fulfilling our temperament, fulfilling our constitution, who we came here to be and who we are. But many times some of those constitutive availabilities of who we are don't put the whole picture of life together. So where are some of the challenges that we have in life that we don't know how to put things together with? We're missing those pieces. And how do we make that up in our own lives? And then how do we create friends and resources that kind of fill those gaps? Where, for example, you can fill a gap for me and I can fill a gap for you. And then when we do that and we work together, we end up working together synergistically in a way that we didn't know we could. We can do this in family dynamics too, like in the household, like what, and the team at our workplace. What do you do best and what do I do best? And where do we not focus our time and energy? And how could that person fulfill some of those gaps and I fulfill some of the other gaps? Now, this is a way that we start to work together in such a way where our addictions don't get in the way of accomplishing overall goals for the environment, right? So we have such a unique opportunity. Those are some of the blessings and the opportunities inside becoming more aware, alert, alive, and awake.
That's beautiful. And I really want people to start. First of all, it always starts with you, the me, myself, and I of it, period. And then we can reflect that back out to those that we love in our, domestic domain or community or whatever. But it starts with us, the awareness of us, getting the fuzz off the lens, refocusing it, fine tuning it mentally, physically, spiritually, etherically, emotionally. Um, and learning to just trust that our system can assist us if we put our mind to it. And that is our conscious forefront thinking.
That is our conscious forefront thinking. And you're talking about the prefrontal lobe right there,
Yes, I
right behind
am.
our forehead. And you know what's amazing is we have three lobes of our prefrontal cortex. And the first lobe, the one that touches our cranium here, our skull, and our forehead, is the one that gets beaten down the most in society and in our rules and regulations about how life is and how it works, is rules and regulations. No, you can't do this. No, you can do this. And so we get inhibited. No, you can't, cross the street, or whatever. All these rules and regulations, that's where they live. And
Mm-hmm.
what happens is if we live so mired in our rules and regulations about life, we then don't access the second lobe and the third lobe behind that, where our genius brain exists.
Yes, and I'm just going to throw this out there. We really get a lot of that in our school systems,
We
right?
sure
We
do.
get too much of it in our school systems, and it stunts the growth of our children because it stunts the ability to expand through imagination by locking you down into rules, regulations, boundaries, what answer is acceptable, how do you get to that answer, well, all the while you're physically confined to a desk. And that's all I'm going to say about that at
I
this
think it's
time.
great that you broach that subject because that happens in the adult world too.
Yes, it does.
All of these children graduating from the school system this way are grow up inhibited. So now we're adults. Now we're inhibited by rules, regulations. This is how it is. This is how it isn't. This is how I got to be. We don't access that genius brain.
Yes.
And we don't access that genius brain by coping mechanisms that have gone unnoticed for moments, years, and decades. And then we have addictions and habits to deal with the things we don't want to deal with or don't know how to deal with. And we have forgotten how to access our genius brain. And
Yeah.
awareness throughout the whole day is the bonus points for accessing our genius brain because we have choice points rather than asleep at the wheel addiction points.
Hmm.
So I
And
love
then
it that
our,
we
yeah.
made, right? It's like, I'm going to look at it now. What are my addiction points of the day?
Yeah, because as we grow, we figure out little self-soothing mechanisms, and then the self-soothing mechanism becomes coping mechanisms, which then can lead to an addiction. And so the thing is, you have to wake up and broaden your expansion. What does the word addiction mean to you, just
Yeah.
in your own world? And just bring that into your awareness, and then start looking at how to branch off from there in the conscious mind, right? And then what steps do you want to take to maybe rearrange that, um, so it's not so addictive and that you have choices, it doesn't control you.
Right. So what you're doing is you're gaining, I don't call it control of yourself and control of your behaviors, your thoughts, your words, your emotions. I talk it about stewarding myself. So I'm learning how to steward myself. I'm learning how to guide myself. I'm my own parent, so to speak. And I even support parents teaching children to do this as well, so that they have access to that genius mind. They can stay and understand rules and regulations, but what if that can just be on the periphery of our prefrontal lobe and not dead center? And we can go, okay, here's the rule and the regulations, here's the guardrails of what I'm supposed to do in this environment. But at the same time, I'm still going to bring in that other genius aspects of the mind, of the heart, and of the being we are, and bring that into the environment, even the environment that has rules and regulations, so that we can occupy our genius mind, our genius states, because when we activate those, how do we feel?
I think we feel very different, that's for sure, but we also feel very much in a different position. um
Right, we
And then
activate our
you're
bliss
also in a little
state.
bit of an exhale, and you don't even know it because it's not always intentional. Like you didn't consciously choose the exhale, your body is sort of exhaling and bringing things into the physical body. And a lot of people run from that because it's painful to be in the mental, physical, and emotional body. And again,
Well,
we could do topics on that for
right, but
hours.
what if it doesn't have to be painful anymore?
It's
It's
exactly
just
right.
it's just your opportunity to become aware. And we
Mhm.
let go of the self-judgments and we go, "Oh, wow, I didn't choose that as well as I'd like to." So now in my choice point, if I made an uncomfortable choice point, or I didn't do well, or I was forced or coerced or whatever it is, say, I'm going to choose differently next time. And I'm going to become aware that I have a choice to be something different, to do something different, say something different than I did before. So I don't have to conform, acquiesce, and bend over to the rules and regulations of what's going on, especially when they're confounding, conflicting, and don't represent everyone in the environment well. So, how can I bring it forward to start to relax this rule or this regulation or this terms or conditions to start to accommodate everyone involved rather than just accommodating what didn't work before and that's why that rule got made, right? So there's so many options inside awareness. There isn't any options when we're not aware.
Mhm.
There are no choice points when we're not aware. We're just doing stuff. And so those are many of the bonus points. And so when we become aware and we make a choice and we make a difference in that environment to ourselves and others, how then do we feel? I feel blissful. I feel happy. I feel productive. I feel like I'm noticed, like I matter, like you matter, like we matter. Like this situation is beneficial even if it's difficult to deal with.
Yes,
Yes.
I would agree with you there. I would totally agree with you there. Now, I know we're coming to the end of the show. Is there anything else you want to discuss with everybody before you
Oh my
get off
gosh,
here?
I
We're going to be
love.
coming back, everybody. Nurse Ashley is going to be coming back. We're going to be bringing up more
Thank
topics,
you.
um, within the addiction. And again, we don't rehearse any of this. We just come on and go with the flow. We're not sure where spirit's guiding us in this, but I am confident that people can relate. Many people listening to this are going to be able to relate to different pinpoints throughout our conversation. So,
Yeah, I really love it because what we did demonstrate verbally and visually is we demonstrated here that addiction is a conundrum. It's a big chaotic mess of stuff we didn't want to deal with that's right in front of us that we don't realize is there. And we did discern a very great value point is they're hidden inside distractions. Our awareness is hidden inside what we get distracted with, and we don't realize it. So, everyone taking a moment after seeing us share here today about addiction is have an opportunity to notice where your distractions are. And in those distractions is buried stuff you don't want to look at. When you don't want to look at it, take a moment with compassion for yourself and the situation to take a look at it in a non judgmental way that supports you transitioning into a new choice point. Because many of us believe that when we're stuck in an addiction, we can't change it. There's nothing we can do about it. My hands are tied. I'm stuck. I'm vulnerable. I'm pitiful. This doesn't work. And we become radical victims to our own addictions. And we support everyone becoming unaddicted, aware, awake, alive, and alert, keeping it spiritually simple. And we do want to share with you an opportunity to end this particular session with an opportunity that we both love in this company called botnyscientifics.com. And we have what is called a grounded gummy. And it is an amazing product. And Sandy can share this with you at any time. Reach out, DM her at any time. This grounded gummy is so amazing. It has broad spectrum hemp, CBD, CBG, CBE products in it, and non psychotropic, nootropic mushrooms, reishi, cordyceps, and lion's mane. So it won't affect your cognition. It helps you become awake, alive, alert, and aware. It helps you become peaceful, grounded, centered, so that you're compassionate with noticing and becoming aware of where things hold me up, where things keep me stuck, what are things I'm not willing to look at because it's too scary, or it's overwhelming, or it's a past trauma, or it's a trauma I'm having in real time right now in life. That there are resources, there are support that is outside of us that we can also get another viewpoint of ourselves that we may not be able to see inside of ourselves. This grounded gummy, I have to say, I take it daily and I look at it and I go, wow, show me the awareness of how to create revelations in my life was mine today. So I'm experiencing one conversation after the next in having revelations, having opportunities to complete initiatives, projects, conversations, opportunities, a notice of what is beyond what I never knew was available before. And so, always keeping an open mind, an open heart, and an open opportunity to really invite in this platform is keeping it spiritually simple, is connecting with your spirit, connecting with the part of you that knows your true nature, knows who you are, and knows why you're here to be the being that you are, which is beautiful, joyous, and an opportunity to choose healthy options all day long.
oh,
Thank you,
Ashley,
Sandy.
that was wonderful. Thank you so much. And everybody, I'll have a link in the description for the grounded gummy. I like to look at it as kind of a plant acopia. Today I called upon the elementals. So I could envision like this forest, this magical forest. And on top of this little stump of wood that had the moss on it, all the little elementals were there, and they just were offering up, the mushrooms and the nutrients in the soil. And so it just bathed my body and kind of dusted off some of the cobwebs, which gives me more clarity mentally during the day. So you may enjoy it. Check it out. I'll definitely leave the link in the description with the 20% off.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. It was our pleasure to bring forward this conversation inside ourselves to really create the brilliance that we are each and every day.
Amen to that, sister. All right, everybody, like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye.